Welcome to FOBtv, the future of business. I want to thank each of you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kevin Benedict, and I want to introduce our guest, Shalini Mitha. Shalini, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. It's great to be here.
Yes, Shalini is the Global Vice President of Customer Experience Solutions Marketing at SAP.
Yes.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
So I work at home, but I always work from home. And I imagine SAP here, especially in the Palo Alto office, is probably working from home nowadays.
Yes, we are working from home. Yeah, like everyone else, SAP wants their employees to be safe. And so, yeah, I've been working at home since the beginning of March. And like everybody else, right, unable to see colleagues, and definitely miss going into the office. But I am based in Palo Alto.
Yeah, the commute is real good, though.
Yeah, exactly. I just have to go from here to the kitchen for lunch and, across the family in the hallway.
I know. I have my dog laying next to me right here on the floor, and sometimes that's a problem, but we'll see if we can get through the recording.
I think anything goes now. Everybody's very open to kids and family members, and our chief marketing officer, Alicia Tillman, had her kids on her lap while she was doing a global all hands. It's the new normal, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. So talk to us about how, your life routine has changed since COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, both work and home life. Like I said earlier, like everyone else, I'm working at home. I haven't been seeing family members other than the ones that are living in my house, and colleagues and our customers. And I have two daughters that were 2020 COVID graduates, one from high school and one from college. So it was a whole new world of how you celebrate their accomplishments. And it was done, I will say, for the most part, the schools made it special. The high school one had a car parade. My older one had, virtual graduation, but I have to say COVID-19 has taught me to really appreciate the small moments, just taking a walk outside, having a meeting with friends, and I think it's so important to just check in with everyone during this time.
Oh, absolutely. But at the same time, the news is disconcerting, and it's hard to stay focused on some of this stuff.
It is very hard to stay focused. Yes. There's so much going on in the world, and not just COVID. Black Lives Matter movement, which it's just horrific what's happening, and it impacts us all. Personally, professionally. What we're seeing is it's time to take action and not time to be silent anymore. And SAP has been supportive and putting together initiatives, getting our employees and colleagues together to have these discussions and see not just what we can talk about, but what we can do, how we can take action.
Oh yeah, so you just brought up SAP. Let's talk about that. How does a giant company like SAP, which is worldwide, how do they continue to function in this strange new world we live in?
Yeah, it's definitely been a change, but when COVID hit and the pandemic hit and it was officially declared a pandemic, one of the things that we did as a company was we really wanted to help our employees. It was really to be there for them. We saw what our customers were doing across the borders and in industry, and we really wanted to see what we can do to help them take control, so that they could ensure business continuity, but most importantly, to take care of the people that define their companies, the employees, right? How do you continue to support your customers and create, still kind of create a path for the future, and how do you stay resilient? And we put together, SAP put together across the company, we looked at our solutions and our offerings on how we can help customers, from free training to make working at home easier. We all had to transition, and for me, it was a big transition because I used to go into the office, to putting together a business matchmaking service that allowed buyers to find people that were looking for products and services, help connect. We also looked at like what are the conversations that people were wanting to have, and we put together a thought leadership series on our Future of Customer Engagement and Commerce website about the challenges that consumers were facing with empty shelves, how to maintain sales, during this new normal, and even how to deal with isolation and grief. And so it really right now was about helping, and we're looking at it in a phased approach, right? How do you help accelerate their business, but then how do you help them thrive? And we're slowly seeing the thrive part, because as countries are opening up, but really where we wanted to do is help. We have this saying, together we got this, right? And it's like we're in it together with our customers.
Got it. Yeah, that's beautiful. Here at Tata Consultancy Services, we sent something like well over 200,000 workers. We sent them home with their computers. Yeah. And so then it was just this massive project to get everybody plugged into a home network. Yeah. And we were able to do it without, it was a lot of work and a lot of challenge, but they're working from home now, over 200,000 of us. So that was a challenge because, it's just something we've never had to do to that kind of level again, or before, I should say. So let's talk about consumers out there. We all make tools, we all support the consumers out there, and their behaviors are rapidly changing. What are you seeing out there? What kinds of different behaviors are you seeing as a result of the pandemic?
Well, when pandemic hit, businesses closed, certain industries, right? The airline and travel industry kind of coming to a halt. It was really about grocery store shelves empty, the need for the PPE equipment and things like hand sanitizer. Like all of a sudden, it seemed to us, like in the U.S. probably especially, it changed overnight, where other countries might have approached it a little bit more pragmatically. We felt the impact like immediately, and businesses that couldn't sell to businesses but had products like grocery supplies that consumers needed, and how could they shift? How do you go from selling to businesses to go direct to consumer? How does your B2B sales team, right? They can't go see their customers in the field anymore. Customer service and field service can't go into residents and businesses to fix or to provide resolutions to products and services. So digital ended up really being the hub, right? We really saw everything going to digital, and companies that were ready and had digital and had an e-commerce platform, they could pivot. Interestingly enough, like our own SAP customers, our CX customers, we noticed trends right in the beginning of COVID and proactively reached out to them to really understand, we saw trends. We saw increases in transactions. Within 2 weeks of the pandemic hitting, order volumes, right, reached a plateau, going up to 63.6% higher than in previous months, the previous year. We saw an increase in gross merchandise volume. Like people were buying a lot more. And so really with that shift, companies had to really look at their business and see, were their customers still there, or did they need to pivot? So that was really critical.
Oh, absolutely. And Shalini, I'm going to give you an idea, okay, for a new product. We have so many giant bags of like rice and beans and stuff in our pantry. We're all going to have
flour. Did you get the flour and the yeast?
You should see it. Costco peanut butter huge quantities of peanut butter. So we're going to all have to move that as individuals. It'll take us a decade to go through that.
Or you need to like learn how to do more cooking, right? I mean,
it was on eBay or something.
It was crazy. My daughter wanted to do tie-dye, right? That seemed to be the trend. She bought all these sweatshirts, and we couldn't find rubber bands anywhere. And I couldn't find out.
Pandemic.
It wasn't on the list, but it seemed like everybody was interested in tie-dyeing sweatshirts and clothing. But we had just to kind of go back to the whole grocery supply and there was one of our customers, Breaks UK. They were a grocery food distributor, and they used to sell to businesses and pubs and schools, and obviously their revenue, they saw their revenue impacted because those businesses were closed at the time. And they had to make a shift, but they were already selling, B2B. They were easily able to shift and sell direct to consumer. And because they'd made the commerce investment, it only took them 8 days to go from selling to businesses to start to taking their first orders to consumers, because there was such a need. The shelves were empty, as we're talking about. Toilet paper, rice, everything from yeast and flour, crazy. How can they get an essential goods, right? Essentially fruits and vegetables and meats. How could they get that to the hands of the consumers that really needed it?
Oh yeah, we had the same thing here. There was 6 restaurants that were primarily breakfast kinds of restaurants, and they closed them all down, but they started offering immediately on Instagram. Whenever you'd open it up, your local breakfast restaurant was offering, all the ingredients that they had through their distribution channels were now available very rapidly for you to order direct for delivery. I thought that was phenomenal. Another one my wife pointed out was one of the home deliveries for groceries. I don't know if it's Whole Foods or Costco. One of them, though, if they didn't have your product, they would list alternatives. Here's 3 alternatives to that brand. Which alternative would you like? And I was like, ooh, that's a good experience. So it's not like they're just saying it's not here, you don't get it. Now, they did in the first couple weeks, you would order 50 items and you would get 10 because 40 of them were gone. But then they started giving you all kinds of alternatives, and I thought from a customer experience perspective, that was brilliant. And I saw a lot of that. So what other trends did you guys see right after the pandemic hit?
Like I said, so in addition to kind of going direct to consumer, right, making that investment in a commerce digital platform, right, that you could actually continue to do business. So manufacturers, a company like Bosch, who sells many appliances, but things like power drills, all of a sudden their sales team couldn't go out and meet customers, and they wanted to provide a self-service portal, like a marketplace, where they could send their customers to get information on products, to be able to order products. And because it's tied into their ERP and systems, they were able to pull pricing that was specific for their customers, right? Each customer has negotiated pricing. They could see products and get access to product catalogs. And so we're really seeing the shift, right? It's not just selling direct to consumers, but how our business is using e-commerce platform to continue their business and thrive in some cases, because they were able to provide a portal that gave their customers 24/7 access when they couldn't be there.
So what, Shalini, what kind of long-term strategy changes do you think this experience that we're all living through is going to have on professional marketers? How are they going to approach their job different in the future?
I think it's super important that this is where the customer, again, becomes paramount. We've heard this before, right? Put the customer at the center of your business. But I think in these kind of times especially, it's so important. You need to listen to the voice of your customer. You need to listen to the voice of your employees. Because, when you look at CX leaders across customer service, marketing, sales, they're the front line of your business, right? They are engaging with customers, and they need to have the right information and insight so they can have relevant conversations. And customers have so many choices today. So are you being relevant? Because, you kind of have one shot sometimes with a customer before they are gone, right? Or they're going to your competition. So to me, that becomes like a strategy that, marketers obviously have embraced before, but it's not only just listening to the voice of the customer, it's being able to act. So if someone's on your website, and to your point, if you're looking for something and instead of just saying, oh, sorry, not available, in your example, they're giving you product recommendations that maybe historically people have purchased together or replaced with, then you're quickly, helping to still be more relevant. You're helping to resolve the challenge, in this case, buying a product that they need. And then it's being able to act, right? So it's important to listen, but what can you do in that moment? Like if someone add something to the shopping cart, was having a difficult time adding it, and then just gives up and decides to close the shopping cart, and you say, hey, there's something we can do. And they say, well, your shipping costs are too high, or I don't understand this product description. Can you make that change or respond to them in that moment before they go away from your site? Because that's when, if you capture their attention, then if you're really listening to what they want and acting on it, that's where you're really delivering on your brand promise and you're retaining and building loyalty with your customers.
So let's talk about the SAP customer experience solutions themselves, and maybe we can pull back the curtains and we can say, what was the experience working inside of SAP when your customer, the consumers are changing very quickly, you have a lot of frightened and uncertain and disconcerted customers of SAP. What did you guys offer as a solution, or how did you change your approach so that you were helping your own customers?
Yeah, a couple of different ways. So like I said earlier, we noticed the spike in volumes of transaction that were hitting our platform, and we proactively reached out to those customers, right, to really make sure that they were ready for the increase in volume as people flew to digital because they couldn't get to their stores. They couldn't get the products and services they needed from the brick and mortar. And also with supply chains, right, being impacted. So many grocery store shelves empty. And, that at SAP, our CX solutions, one of the clear competitive advantage that we offer our customers is the ability to tie into those supply chains, right? So as somebody's placing an order, is it available? If not, can you recommend additional products? Provide an appropriate time frame for your customers to know when they were going to be delivered. And so to us, that is really where we sat and helped our customers. We also, offer them our services to make sure that they're running flawlessly, especially in times of Black Friday. We have everybody on deck, right, to make sure that no shop is taken offline. And so it's similarly during this pandemic, right, we were really monitoring the customers and making sure that they were agile and scalable and able to brace for any impact that might happen.
Wow. What a hot seat to be on in this kind of time. So let me ask you, within the SAP family of, dozens and dozens and maybe hundreds of solutions that you guys have there, especially within the CX area, what solutions do you just kind of want to shout out there? Guys, it's here. You can utilize this really cool feature. And which one of those features do you think are really underutilized today that people should really pay more attention to?
The CX portfolio is diverse as we cater to audiences across marketing, sales, service, and the real investment where we see that is needed, especially seeing what's happening in the pandemic, is invest in commerce, right? A solution called Commerce Cloud, right, which is really meant to help companies. It's a platform. It's one platform that can help you go from B2B to B2C to B2B to C, right? So to your businesses, to your consumers, or to both. Yeah. And it was what really allowed our customers to be agile, to shift, right? When they went from selling to businesses to consumers, it also helped sales and service teams shift from selling directly to customers in person to moving them to a marketplace and a portal. And that's the foundation. But what's important is not only that, right? We have marketing, which helps you really segment and personalize the experience. We have customer data cloud, which today, in today's age of privacy and consent, so critical, right? As you're engaging with your customer, you got to be engaging on their terms. Do you understand what they're looking for, what they need, and have they given you consent to be able to continue to engage with them? The combination of that, and then being able to service from Service Cloud, right? It's because you sell a product or service, how easy is it for customers to get resolution to any challenges they have or questions they need to get answered? Having an online source for that is great, as well as having people that they can talk to. But when field service technicians can't get out, right, in the era of where in the pandemic where really everything was shut down, where can you turn them to? And people were going to more of a self-service, right? We all became do-it-yourself. I saw people learning how to get a haircut and do DIY projects at home. But, to us, it's like the first and foremost is invest in e-commerce, invest in a commerce platform that'll help you scale and be ready for any disruption.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. On the note of haircuts, give it a name. It was a 5-day haircut because 5 days after I first got it, I was still, trimming it up and still finding chunks sticking out of different parts of my hair. So
Yes.
I just left the clippers out on next to my bathroom sink.
Did you do it yourself? Because I heard like partners and spouses and kids were all part of the haircut.
So my wife did the first one, and then I cleaned up for the next 5 days.
Got it.
Well, Shalini, thanks for giving us the insights from SAP customer experience, talking to us about what your customers are seeing, what the consumers are experiencing, and what you guys are working very hard to help customers deal with out there, and for keeping all of our pantries full. So thank you very much, Shalini.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been great to be here. And I will say, part of what we're trying to do today is really help our customers. At the end of the day, they're the most important part of our business and a part of anybody's business. So putting customers first. So thank you for having me.